The Atlantic has grown a floating belt so vast that satellites track it from space. But this is not an island, and it is not simply pollution. It is alive, and in the wrong place, it can transform a coastline. Welcome to HQRS, where curiosity meets science. Today, the Great Atlantic Sargassum Belt, and why 2026 has become one of its biggest years on record. Sargassum, pronounced sargassum, is a group of brown, free-floating algae. Look closely and you see branching fronds and tiny, berry-like gas bladders that keep it at the sunlit surface. In moderate amounts, far from shore, these rafts are floating nurseries. Young turtles shelter beneath them. Fish, crabs, birds, and invertebrates feed and hide around them. Like other photosynthetic organisms, sargassum also uses sunlight and releases oxygen. But the same biology changes when enormous quantities pile into shallow water and onto beaches. NASA reported that the belt's abundance in June 2026 was the second highest in the satellite record, just below 2025. The Western Caribbean held an estimated 3.6 million metric tons. The Eastern Caribbean held 9 million. And the Gulf reached 5 million metric tons, nearly twice its previous June record. The name belt can be misleading. It is not one continuous bridge of seaweed from Africa to the Americas. It is a vast, shifting field of separate mats, stretched and gathered by currents and winds. Think of leaves on a moving river, scattered in some places, compressed into thick lines in others. The modern tropical Atlantic belt became prominent around 2011. That was a major change from the older picture, in which sargassum was best known from the Sargasso Sea farther north. Researchers are still investigating why the tropical belt has expanded. Ocean warming may matter. So may nutrients arriving from rivers, the atmosphere, upwelling, or other sources. Large mats can also host nitrogen-fixing microbes that add usable nitrogen. But there is no single proven cause, and year-to-year changes depend strongly on circulation and weather. Offshore habitat becomes a coastal problem when winds and currents push too much sargassum into bays and beaches. Dense mats can block light and reduce oxygen as they decay. They can smother seagrass and coral, trap marine animals, and create expensive cleanup challenges for coastal communities and tourism. Decomposition also releases hydrogen sulfide, the gas associated with a rotten egg smell. At high enough concentrations, it can irritate eyes and airways, especially for workers or residents exposed near heavy accumulations. That does not mean every strand is poisonous. The risk depends on how much material is decomposing, where it gathers, and how people are exposed. So how do scientists weigh something this patchy across an ocean? They do not count individual plants. Satellites measure reflected sunlight. Water absorbs much of the near-infrared light that reaches it, so ordinary seawater appears relatively dark at those wavelengths. Sargassum's structure and chlorophyll reflect more near-infrared light. When that reflection rises above the background, researchers can estimate the fraction of each satellite pixel covered by algae, then convert that surface coverage into an estimate of biomass. NASA's PACE satellite adds another advantage. Its ocean color instrument is hyperspectral, meaning it separates reflected light into many narrow wavelength bands, not just a few broad colors. A 2026 peer-reviewed study found that this wider spectral view detects sargassum more sensitively and helps distinguish it from other floating organisms, including trichodesmium, a nitrogen-fixing cyanobacterium that can look confusingly similar in simpler imagery. Those daily and weekly maps do more than make a dramatic picture. They help researchers watch short-term changes and give communities advance information about where mats may travel. But they are regional outlooks, not precise forecasts for an individual beach. Local winds, tides, and currents can still change the outcome. The deeper lesson is a paradox. Sargassum is not a villain. In the open ocean, it is habitat. Near a coast, too much can become a hazard. The science is not only about how much exists, but where it moves, what light reveals, and how a living ecosystem crosses a threshold. Stay curious. This is HQRS, and I'll see you tomorrow with another story from science.